Okay, here's our Euro light. Now, the original harness, if we come over here and take a look, this pigtail is just for our amber light. This pigtail with 3 wires to it is for our headlight with 3 terminals. And this with the 2 wires is our high beam light. When you click high beam, both bulbs come on. This has fog lights under the bumper. So that's why this is not a fog light. This is our high beam bulb. And with the Euro bulbs, they have actually a fog light bulb for that high beam. As you can see here, that's a very intense bulb. And the reason that the U.S. government doesn't approve of the Euro lights being imported is because high beam is definitely brighter. And of course, hey, you'd want that. Driving down the road, you want to see everything you can. Okay, our Euro light, and we're going to prep the wiring needed. You always want to lay this on a foam surface so you don't scratch that lens. These lenses, we call them jello molds, okay? When we have a Mercedes-Benz picnic meet, I always bring a couple of these with jello in them. Anyway, we're going to start by removing this light assembly. There's some old stuff we don't need, and we don't need this because we're going to use the pigtail from the car that makes life easier for us. Okay, we don't need that. This we're going to swap out to have a 3-wire bulb. So we have parking light and turn signal. Now, we do not need this pigtail assembly either. And in this case, normally this is the parking light bulb. However, it's much better to have the amber as the parking light. It's a much more intense bulb. So in this case, for this customer, we're just going to cut this. We don't need it. Now what we need to do is to pry up this gasket, doing our best not to damage it, so you want to really dig down in there deep. And get underneath it. And that sucker is in there good. I'm doing my best to get underneath it. And definitely it's got some glue to it. Okay. We've got enough room to, almost enough room. Okay, now we got enough room to pull this harness through. Now do note, this nylon piece has a couple of hooks that you have to relieve in order to get this out. Once you get the nylon hooks moved. I'm going to just give this just a little tap. And I'm trying to save it so that we do have some original pieces you can put in your box of goodies that you might use sometime. Oh, this one's really in there. Okay, so before we assemble, we're going to test this bulb. Note that this terminal is ground. That works. That works. High and low beam both work. So we're good to go. And then for our high intensity bulb, it simply disconnects. Now, I may have touched this. These high intensity bulbs, if you impart a little bit of oil from your finger on that glass, after a minute or so, it will shatter the glass. So you always want to clean these with a tissue. You can use a little alcohol if you want to, but I don't want to touch that again. And we got good to go. Okay, so this is our 3-wire assembly. And I damaged this. We're going to reglue that. I'll show you how to reglue it. But anyway, this just screws right on where the other one was. Now, if this covering isn't long enough to protect it through this area here, then wrap these wires with a bunch of tape. Okay, so we're going to assemble this and glue that.